Hey, thanks for joining us today for FYI Friday. I'm Jessie. We're still at Joe's Quilting Studio. So today I'm going to show you something on my Innova AutoPilot Mach 3 here. And what I'm doing is a quilt that I've completely altered, and I've kind of turned it into this whole fence thing. It's pretty neat. But what happens is because I have a lot of quilting in it, it creates quilt draw, which means it all draws to the center. So kind of each chunk that I do, I have to morph it. And I like to morph it as a big chunk. So I'm going to show you today how to use the group and ungroup feature. And so I don't want to link everything together because my bobbin will not do the whole chunk. So we are going to group and ungroup. So watch me how I do this. The first thing I'm going to do over here is I'm just going to go ahead and reposition. And I'm going to reposition here to my center. I'm going to find my kind of low point here. And let me turn on a light so it's easier to see. And I'm going to come here and reposition. Like so. And I like to zoom in as far as I can because you can totally be off on this. And apply and done. And then I'm going to go back to full view. Full view is my friend. So now I'm going to drop some push pins because really what I need to do is I need to see where that stitching actually is versus where the computer thinks it is. Remember, you don't have a quilt sensor. It only knows what you tell it, and it has no idea that it has quilt draw. So we're going to tell it right now. So I'm going to go ahead and on my sew head, I'm going to select M3 here, and that is what puts me in the Mach 3 mode. This now just became a glorified remote control for my autopilot system. So I'm going to take it over here to the left, and I'm going to come to my left hand low point, the little spike right there. I'm going to hit my left button. I'm going to drop a pin, and then I'm going to come to the next one and drop a pin, and then drop another pin and drop another pin. And you can see on the screen how it just kind of drops the pins. Watch how I do it. I like to drop around 4 pins, right? So I've got 5 right there because remember, it draws into the center. So the center should be on point where the outsides are the ones that shifted. So I've got my 5 pins there. I'm going to go ahead and move over to the right hand side, and I'm going to drop some points there, some pins. 3, 4, and 5. So that's great. So now over here on my screen, I've got these 5 here, and I've got these 5 here. I'm going to zoom in over here to the left side, and you can totally see how these are off, right? Let me zoom in some more. It's about 1/4 of an inch off. This blue thing is where my actual point is, and the red is up here, so it doesn't know it shifted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select morph. I am going to then select that chunk of row, and then I'm going to use that purple box. Oops. I'm going to use that purple box, and I am just going to move that to the purple box. And in this, because I'm morphing to the center like that, usually everything lines up pretty good if I just move my 4 corners. Well, it moves it close enough. So now I'm going to click off. I always like to click off. I'm going to go back to full view here, zoom right into my right hand side, select my previously sewn row, and I am going to alter this. Now, if I went to go sew this right now, you see this green right here is going to sew over what has already been sewn. Hopefully that makes sense for you. So that's why I do need to alter it, right? So now I have moved this. You see how I moved it over to line up with my push pin. I'm going to click off in my white space, and that way it takes that selection. But now I need to morph the next sewn rows so that way it doesn't overlap. And this is the point of this little tutorial here. If I go ahead and just morph this one, okay, I can morph this, but look, I'm going to have problems on every row below that. So I like to morph the entire section that I am going to sew. Unfortunately, with this pattern, my bobbin is only going to do 3 rows. So I do not want to link all 7 of these rows together. I'm just going to do a quick undo to undo what I just did. And just make sure it takes right there. I'm going to click off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate my group attach feature right there. And what I'm going to do is select group. When we link the rows, remember we hit link, but we're going to hit group here. And I want you to see what happens. I'm going to group that one to that one, 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 and again, and again. Everything that's pretty much here in my sew zone, I am going to group that. Now, none of my starts and stops left. None of them. So we didn't link them together. We didn't attach them. We grouped them together. And what that's going to allow us to do is now when we go into morph, I can select it all as a whole. It's all one thing. It can be edited all at the same time. So when I morph that top handlebar and I move that, do you see how everything underneath it is moving in conjunction with it? Which is totally what we want in this situation. So I did morph that. I'm going to select off in the white space so it takes that edit. I'm going to come over here to the left-hand side. I'm going to select this green, and it doesn't look like this one really needed a lot right there. I'm just going to give it a tiny tweak there, and everything moved, and it took it. And now I want to go back and link my things, but it's not going to link everything because I'm in group. So I need to ungroup my items. I'm going to go back in here into my group feature. I'm going to select ungroup, click on here. And now when I hit Stretchy Man, each row is back to its own individual self. And that is how we edit in a big jumble using group. Now you know.